This is the Empowered Leader podcast. And today I am very honored to have Christina Hess with me today. Okay. Christina, she is a rock star. She's a YouTube rock star. Okay. She has her health tips on optimizing your genetics and longevity. Okay. She has over 5,000 subscribers. Okay.
Okay,
And
come on.
okay, all right.
Hopefully like 2 more after
Okay,
today or 5.
okay. Christina is a licensed clinical nutritionist, dietitian, and premier health coach specializing in functional and integrative nutrition. Okay. With a master's degree in clinical nutrition and integrative health from MUIH, which you'll tell us about, and board certification as a nutritionist specialist. Christina combines science, specialization, and compassionate coaching to help clients achieve optimal health and longevity. Her expertise lies in whole food, uh,
Anti-inflammatory plans.
oh,
Yeah, based
yeah,
on genetics and all the personalized stuff.
right, which reduces inflammation, restores metabolic balance, and
Yeah.
supports sustainable lifestyle changes, which we are all about because we are all empowered leaders, including
Yes.
Christina herself here. Okay.
Thank you. Thanks for having me here, Margaret.
Yes.
So fun.
Yeah, right. And you successfully support individuals in maintaining complex clinical conditions such as autoimmune diseases, cancer,
Mm-hmm.
metabolic disorders,
Mm-hmm.
and digestive challenges, while also guiding athletes and high performers in maximizing their health span and vitality. Now, who wouldn't want that? When I heard about all that, I'm like, girl, come on, let's go. Okay, you're passionate about personalized nutrition for healthy aging. And Christina's empowers clients to go beyond the absence of disease, okay, towards the state of vitality, joy, resilience in body, mind, and spirit. And here is
Well
Christina.
said. Well said. Thanks, Margaret. Yeah. Yeah. So unfortunately, like as amazing as some of our healthcare is for people who already have a diagnosed condition, we don't have a medical model that is focused on prevention. So I'm trying to get the word out. Let's not wait until something is going wrong. Let's dial things in now and do what we can so we can age healthfully and gracefully and avoid that hospital and avoid too many doctors and medications. But yes, if you already have a diagnosed condition, I'm here to also support that. And unfortunately, also, our amazing doctors don't always encourage or tell people how their condition can be managed and supported through diet and lifestyle. So, we tend to think of nutrition only for weight management. It's kind of, we just think of the outsides and we don't think about what we feed ourselves, can manifest in migraines, in joint pain, in just feeling badly, having low energy. And yes, we may end up with blood pressure issues, blood sugar dysregulation, cardiac things going on. And there is just so much that we can do that is within our control. It's just, like our landscape out there is not set up for our success. But I'm here to hold people's hand and help them implement and be accountable and also have their own personalized strategy because, Margaret, you, me, anyone listening, we're all so biologically unique. And although 99 0.9% of humans are all the same, right? So we get treated that way, but where I specialize is in that zero point 0.1 difference is pretty interesting because we have different genetics, we have different food tolerance, we have different gut microbiomes, we have different environments we live in, we have different stresses. So there's just a lot that should get factored into dealing with each human individually that our medical model doesn't have time for or necessarily practice.
You said a lot there. And the thing of it is, as we get older, these chronic conditions such as health disease, diabetes, cognitive decline increases.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's 64 chronic diseases out there that are listed. Yeah, six,
Scary
it's,
stuff.
it's a lot. Yeah. There are, I think it's 5 major diseases of aging, right? You got
Okay.
cancer, you've got diabetes, you've got, CVD, so, uh, heart disease. Um, but there's so many more, right? There's so many more chronic illnesses that I have seen. It's terrible to make a promise, but I've seen people's serious autoimmune issues, rheumatoid arthritis, for example, go into remission on the right diet and lifestyle.
Okay.
You remove interference from the body is able to heal. It is harder once you have a actual diagnosed clinical condition because we've now progressed into that space. But I have seen crazy things happen. I have. Diabetes. People with diabetes who are told you'll never fix this. You'll be on insulin forever. If they change their diet, and that population is super tough. Super tough. But if they make changes, I've seen things happen in 3 to 4 months that you would not believe. Like, things go back to normal. Yes. It's literally if you put something in the right environment, like, I don't know if anyone out there is a gardener, but I got into, orchids, like, a year ago, and orchids are a very delicate plant. Them off easily, but you can also regrow them and regenerate them. So they look nearly dead. They do. They look nearly dead. And I started watching YouTube videos about this because my mom would love to buy orchids, these like $20 orchids from Trader Joe's, and then she would just kill them in like 2, 3 weeks. And I thought, this is not good or sustainable. There must be something we can do for these orchids. So I started kind of adopting these dead looking orchids. You put them in the right sunlight, you give them the right water, you give them the right nutrients, you pot it in the right pot and the soil. This is all a metaphor, and they come back to life. They regrow. But the same happens for us. We're really not different. And like, if anyone out there has a pet, for example, what's like what not pooping? Like, what are they eating? What are they eating? So it's always correlated. When you have a pet and you take it to the vet, it's always correlated back to food, always, because they can't talk to us. And that's the one thing we control for them is their diet. And I don't know, we don't make this connection with human beings necessarily.
Well, as they say, we are what we eat and we are what we think. Okay. So, with all of these things in mind, there are certain diseases that are typical to our genetics. For example, in the
Yes.
African American community, high blood pressure
Mm,
and heart disease
mm.
And diabetes is
Mhm.
prevalent. I have type 2 diabetes, which is reversible.
Yeah.
Um, as far as with the high blood pressure, I'm not sure because that's genetics, and the doctor would keep me on the uh, pharmaceuticals. He says to protect my heart because my father did die from congenital heart failure,
Okay. Yeah.
and cancer does run in our family as well.
Although blood pressure is correlated to the blood sugar too. It can be. If you have salt sensitivity genes, yes, then it's genetic. If you do not have those salt sensitivity genes, for example, on ACE, uh, then it is more lifestyle related, and also things like hydration, um, and activity level. So we'll talk offline, Margaret.
Okay, okay, all right. So the thing of it is, what you're talking about with water, that is very essential. Even when I was with my trainer and even the doctor, they will tell you to drink at least, what, 8 quarts of water a day?
Here's the formula, guys. Here's the formula. Baseline is drink half of your body weight in ounces. It's not this 8 cups of water or any standard fit because we're all different. So
Okay,
you
okay.
want to drink half of your body weight in ounces. For every cup of coffee, you add another 8 ounces. Okay, if you're a coffee drinker, because that's a diuretic, or a black tea drinker. So add back the 8 ounces, and then for every hour of exercise that you do, especially if it's strenuous, and especially if it's outdoors with temperature, it's even more, but it's about another 16 to 20 if you're in a gym and you're, let's say, doing a class or you're doing some strenuous work. So it's a lot more water than what we think. And most
Okay,
most people are chronically dehydrated. And here's another thing too. Um, People think that carbonated water is just as good as regular water, and it is acidic water. Has carbonic acid in it, so the uptake into the cell is not the same. It's disruptive to your digestive system. It's just really acidic to the digestive pH. So, it can cause digestive issues. Too much gassy water, right, can cause some problems too. It's okay to have seltzer once in a while, like a seltzer every day is fine. It's just that some people just say, "Well, I just drink a ton of seltzer," and they don't drink just plain water. Now, I don't happen to personally love the taste of plain water, so I use electrolytes. I flavor my water. I'll also put, like, supplementation in my water, and that helps me drink it because I'm so notoriously bad for drinking plain water.
when you say supplement, can you
Sure, like, for
expand
example,
on
I
that?
I use a nitric oxide powder. It's supposed to help cardiovascular health, and it has, vitamin C in it. It has some other things, and it's a grape flavor, so it's delicious, and it has, like, grape extract. It has all these red food extracts, beets, things that, improve, the nitric oxide, which helps, just kind of expand the blood vessels so more oxygen is delivered around the body. So
Okay,
that's an example. Um,
okay.
I drink collagen peptides, things like that, which is nice for your hair, skin, and nails. And yeah, a lot of us, most of us, 70% of the protein in our body is collagen. So it's those types of supplements. Yeah, they help me drink more water.
And not only and not only that, they have also health benefits as well as far as towards longevity. Is that correct?
Yes, yes. I mean, they're nice things to do, right? They're not must-dos. People could, I tell all my clients to get up in the morning, have a 16-ounce glass of water, and put some fresh lemon. squeeze fresh lemon into that glass of water. And then if you have blood sugar issues, do a small capful of apple cider vinegar in that with that lemon. Now that's going to be a very tart, sour thing, so you can use electrolytes to sweeten it, or you can buy liquid stevia or liquid monk fruit, which are alternates from plant-based sources to sugar and are not, made in a lab like aspartame, Splenda sucralose, which has a chlorine molecule which will destroy your gut bacteria. So these alternate things are totally safe. And they'll sweeten the beverage. It'll taste more like a lemonade. And it's a great way to start your day, clean your liver, get the water in. It boosts metabolism by 23%. Yeah. So it's a nice little hack before you have your first cup of coffee.
Awesome. Now you're talking about cleaning the liver. Some people do cleanses, so
Mm.
I don't know. You want to
Are
touch on that?
Sure. Well, there was like the juice cleansing fad for a while. So there's different types of fasting that a person can do. Um, the strictest type of fasting would be water fasting, but that's very, very hard for people to do. So, fasting, liquid fasting with broth is putting minerals back into your body and giving your digestive system a break. I don't recommend juice fasting just because you're getting that spike. It's high sugar and concentrated fructose. So, that's going right to your liver and that can create fatty liver. We don't want that. So, if you're going to fast or do time restricted eating, like I don't know if people have questions. People who are watching, if they have questions, definitely like put it in the chat. I'd love
Yes,
to answer
please
your
do.
questions.
I don't see any questions yet.
Yeah, so the difference between intermittent fasting and time restricted eating, people exchange the two, but technically time restricted eating is simply eating within an eating window. So the 12-8 became very popular, I think, for people with with blood sugar issues. It's better to finish your dinner early and move it up and actually have breakfast. So have a protein rich breakfast. If it's leftovers or eggs, some kind more of a farmer's breakfast is better. Not start the day with like a little yogurt and berries. That's not going to cut it. Um, or cereal or something like that. So, oatmeal, no, no, that's going to spike blood sugar. So,
Wow.
yeah, that's just converting straight to sugar. So I don't recommend that at all.
Okay.
Yeah, eggs for breakfast, totally safe. Don't worry about cholesterol. That's a myth. So time restricted eating, like the average American only goes 9 hours without eating. So they'll eat right up until bed, sleep, and then get up and eat. That's typical. Yeah. And 93% of Americans have metabolic issues. So, so we want to kind of flip that and have
Okay.
a 9-hour eating window and a 15-hour not eating window. To get healthy. Yeah, and you can get all your calories in that time frame, just, because you wanna eat enough food. I think, a lot of people are doing these GLPs and stuff, and they're having a lot of success, but they're overdoing their caloric deficit to lose weight and stuff, and then they can't sustain that because they're now eating 800 calories a day, and that's not good for their metabolism. So, um sorry, messages.
No.
Yeah, so, I don't know if people have questions about that, but then fasting, like, true intermittent fasting would be, say, doing a 24-hour or a 36-hour or 48-hour fast, any kind, water, broth, maybe just liquids like tea, black coffee, um, water with lemon, a bone broth. Like, you could mix it up. So that's called partial fasting. That's fine. That's totally good. They could even do like a small meal, like a couple of eggs and liquids, and that technically there's research that shows that still keeps you in the fasted state. But that is done intermittently, right? You do that maybe once a week or once a month, and it's not something you're doing every day. So, yeah.
How long would you say? Because I see some people doing this on a regular basis. It's like they make it a ritual. So it's like, I don't think so.
Yeah, what if one can't eat due to stress? Calories, maybe 300 to 600 calories. Ooh. Um, so yeah, stress. So when people are in really bad stressful situations, they're in that fight or flight mode. Both their immune system and their digestive system gets downregulated, gets shut down. Of course, some people like are emotional eaters and they'll eat
I am.
they'll eat through the stress, right? That's a different kind of thing. But true fear, like, something that's really, really scared someone, they will lose their appetite because the body says that's not important to do right now. We gotta send, you know, like resources elsewhere right now. So
I-
I hope you're eating now, Purple Majestic, because yeah, 3 to 600 is not one, it's gonna signal your body to shed muscle because muscle is expensive in the body, but muscle is your biggest longevity organ, so you need to feed it protein and you need to train it. So any kind of resistance training, it could be bands, it could be dumbbells, it could be kettlebells, it could be actual barbells, like whatever you like. It could be Pilates, it could be yoga, some kind of body weight thing, but you need to do some kind of resistance training to maintain muscle. It's for healthy aging, and eating that little tells the body to get rid of muscle and actually to hold on to fat. So people get really skinny, but they're skinny fat. And then when their appetite comes back, now they have no muscle. So body just gets, fatter. Okay. Okay. Just trying to be helpful.
I I saw the testimonials on your site, and my trainer used to do the same thing. When he first get a client, he take the before picture, and then he'll take pictures. I don't know, maybe once a month or whatever, to show you your progress.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
amazing. That's a great way to see it. Yeah, pictures are great. I have my clients take pictures of their food instead of logging food. It's fast, it's easy. It's like photo journaling. So you'll be interested in this, Margaret. So there was a study done with type 2 diabetics, um, where they were only told to do two things: stop eating by 7 p.m. and photo journal all the food. And with those two things, they all came off insulin. They all got like they reversed their A1C and it normalized. Yeah.
It worked because once I was told when I wanted to go back to Iraq, and he said, "No, you can't go because you're messed up. Your kidneys is messed up." I was taking all these supplements and stuff like that, so
Uh-huh.
I had to get everything under control. So that's what I was doing. I hired this trainer, and so he had me sending him pictures every day of my food. So it's not I can't cheat. Okay, I'm gonna send it to you. I'm gonna send you this Kentucky Fried Chicken, but I'm still gonna eat it anyway. I told him, and so after that, it's like I shamed myself into eating right. Okay, because I like I don't
It's
want to
just
see him.
accountability, yeah, because
Yeah,
we
yeah,
don't know. We are our own best nutritionists, like, we know if food doesn't agree with us and we eat it anyway, or we know that fast food thing isn't the best choice, it's just easy.
yeah.
We know we shouldn't be eating at 11 o'clock at night, but we do it because 'cause we're bored, or We're like, I can't sleep or whatever it is, or
Yeah.
feeling lonely. So yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we just kind of, but it's nice to be inside of a community, and it's nice to have support, and it's nice to be accountable to somebody or have a buddy, and all of that really, really does help. Yeah.
But at that time in my life, I was like 250 or 260 pounds. So I had to get down to like 190. And I did that through that
Awesome.
process. Okay.
Good.
And I was able to ship out. So at that time, but now since this recent stress I've been going through, I wasn't able to eat at all. And I was
Right.
just losing weight, losing body fat and all of these things and depleting all of my the doctor said, well, you got to go on potassium. Now you got to go on iron. And I'm like, oh no, I don't want all that. You know what I'm saying? Because I wasn't eating.
Okay.
So
Wow.
I'm
How long
slowly coming back now.
Yeah, you had to rebuild. So your body takes resources from you, and then you gotta put resources back in. Yeah, it's like depleting the bank account, and then you gotta, put the money back in the savings. Yeah.
Absolutely. So talk to us a little bit more about this gut health, okay?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the gut's super fascinating, and we have trillions of bacteria in there that are actually running the show. So there's the enteric nervous system is basically the gut talking to the brain. And we now know that 90% of our serotonin, which is our feel good, happy neurotransmitter, is made in the gut. Yeah, it's made in the gut. So there's all kinds of pieces to gut health. We want a good strong lining of the wall, and so that we are not letting food particles pass through partially digested. So when we have
Mm.
something called leaky gut, uh, it means the cell lining is compromised, and things are passing through, and then the immune cells will tag a food as a problem, um, and that can create food sensitivity issues. So we want to have a good gut lining. We want to have the right amount of bacteria in there to help digest the food, to help produce those neurotransmitters, to actually regulate our hormones. And yeah, so it's complex in there. It's really
I can imagine. I can imagine.
Yeah, but I mean, I really think again, to speak to our medical model, like when I take my dog to the vet for his annual physical, they do a poop test, and that's part of the annual physical. And we know so much about the gut microbiome, and we don't have our poop analyzed as part of our annual physical. And I think
Why?
I know. Why? Why not? So, I mean, I do it in my practice because it's so important to know a person's gut health, because it's so informative for what's going on, or like what needs support or what needs to be removed. Um and sometimes there are some bad bugs that cause cravings. They will make us want to eat stuff that we
Like what?
shouldn't.
Like what,
There
for example?
Oh, I mean, you could have, it's called gut dysbiosis, and there are all these different types of bacteria. Maybe it's Klebsiella, maybe it's Morganella, maybe it's Prevotella. There's a list of
Wow.
them, and they cause problems. We just don't want those type of gut bacteria in there. We
So how
don't.
do we prevent it from getting in it to begin with?
Well, first, I think it's important to go assess and go look, before we get crazy about, doing this protocol or that protocol or whatever. So it's good to get assessed and look and see what needs to be improved, and then you can always retest 6 months or a year later and see if
Okay,
you
but
improved.
okay, yeah, but the doctor will say, okay, you want this test? Let's see if Blue Cross Blue Shield will pay for it. I don't know how much that is. You know, you have a la carte prices, so I don't know.
Yes. So, an out of pocket an out-of-pocket stool test will cost you $300.
It's worth it though. It's worth
I
it to know.
I agree. I agree. And it's preventative care, and you can pay for these things with HSA. By the way, if you have a health savings account, and everyone should get one, um, you can do like tax free money, and then yeah, and then deduct it at the end of the year. Like the expenses that don't get covered by insurance, you can use My services are covered by HSA. So yeah, whether you work with me or another, nutritionist or something, like they accept HSA if they don't accept insurance. So, yeah, it's frustrating because insurance only maybe you'd have to have a problem, then you'd have to go to the gastro, and then the gastro, you'd have to request the gastro do the stool test, and maybe the stool test they do is only for like one thing. It's maybe screening for cancer and it's not screening for the whole microbiome. So it's kind of it's
Yeah,
um,
right. Ching ching, ching ching, ching ching, ching ching. And you get out of there, it's like $10,000. No, it might be more than that. Like, what the hell did happen here?
well, they just they have to, I think, because I don't play the insurance game, like it's too confusing to me, and I'm just one person. I don't have medical billers and all that, but it's I think they have to justify why they're ordering something to get reimbursed by insurance. So that's like a whole other crazy topic for another day that doesn't
Yeah,
help
yeah.
solve anyone's problem. So yeah, if someone's very interested in taking the reins, investing in their health, preventing stuff, I think there is such value in going to look at these things. Genetics for the nutrigenomics, which I do, is not looking at the genes that are correlated to disease, but there are certain genes we look at that are higher penetrance, like ApoE, for example, ApoE is a cholesterol transport gene that is highly correlated to dementia and Alzheimer's. So if you have a
Wow.
particular genotype, the 4 allele, then, you really do need to mind dietary intake. You need to mind alcohol. You have to really focus on brain health. Especially if you're a woman, that just the genetic that gene in particular is important to know about. It's good to look at the salt sensitivity genes. It's good to look at how you do with saturated fat, caffeine, like all these nutrients. You can see it in the genetics. And then if someone is having gut issues, food sensitivity testing is really helpful. The food test I do does 4 different immune pathways and is very sensitive. Whereas a lot of these food tests you buy over the counter, like direct to consumer, they just test one pathway, and
Wow.
it's not even the most important pathway because it's sort of like the antibodies will blink in and out of existence. So there
Wow.
it's yeah, but stool is really interesting, and we should be using it at least annually, I think, to just make sure we're like the gut is good because guys, like what you eat feeds all of your organ systems. So this is the one foreign thing we put in our body every single day. And so we're nourishing the actual gut, so the digestive health. We're nourishing our cardiovascular system, our reproductive system, our brain, our skeletal muscle, our skin. Skin issues are 100% correlated to food. And you go to a dermatologist and they don't necessarily ask you. No, not always. I mean, like, let's say if you get some weird, parasite on your skin or something, it's different. But weird acne things or eczema is food intolerance.
We are what we eat. We are what we think. Okay, that's what it goes back to. So this is really interesting
Yeah.
topic.
Do we have any
So
questions from our
oh
viewers here?
yeah, Sue said something. Sue said something about her eating. What did she say? Yeah, Cerise said something.
So, I stop eating at 5 p.m. I love that. I love that too. I think that's amazing. I mean, ideally, we would be done eating 3 to 4 hours before bed. And the reason why is because our metabolism starts to slow down as we prepare to sleep. It starts also like your organ systems are slowing down, shutting down, winding down, um, and everything is more effective earlier. So it's good to get up and put some protein in your body because we don't store those amino acids, and it's good to stop early. There is a gene, speaking of genetics, it's a melatonin receptor gene, MTNR1B, that is highly correlated to diabetes and eating late at night. So, uh, some people get away with eating late at night. Look at all those Spaniards. They eat very late at night. So, but not all of them are diabetic. So, it's just kind of interesting. MTNR1B is in the report I do, and it totally pertains to blood sugar.
Well, talk to us about how we can preserve our muscles and bone strength, because that's very, very important throughout our lives, and even more so as we get older when people suffer from osteoporosis and bone
Yes.
loss.
Interesting you asked me that. So like I used to be a diet experimenter, right? Um I used to, try different things, and in my early 30s. So I had IBS. I mean, I was totally disconnected from, oh, I eat and then I have, gas and I hurt and I have a poor mood. I was really disconnected from that because it was like, I'm just trying to manage my weight. That's it. Like really disconnected. Okay. So then I was watching the Oprah shows. I'm in my early 30s, and she had on a guest called Kathy Freston, who's like a vegan activist. And so I decided I was going to try a vegan diet. I was very compelled. Like, wow, she made great arguments. I'm going to try this. Well, with literally within months, I broke my first bone. And then, I still wasn't connecting the dots. And then when I healed from that, surgery, I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna train for a half marathon, I'm gonna run." Well, it almost instantaneously got this crazy stress fracture in my femur that it was cracked almost all the way through. And that's when I realized, holy cow, it's the food. Like, I just damaged my bone health because for me, and I didn't know anything about nutrigenomics at the time. I didn't. I fast forward, I found myself in a class learning about this. I said, I have to get my genetics done immediately. Like, this explains a lot. So when I saw my genetics, I have a higher need for protein. I make a terrible vegetarian because I don't convert certain nutrients from plant-based sources. Example, beta carotene is vitamin A from plants like carrots and, you know, orange foods. Don't do it. I need the animal. I need retinol. So, it just explained a whole bunch about how different we all are. Some people thrive on a plant-based diet, and my bones started crumbling. So
How
it's
can you
just,
tell?
well, what do you mean? I
How
broke a
how
couple
can you
bones.
tell if no, no, no. How can you tell if you're the type of person would be better on a plant base,
Oh,
maybe
that's what I
me
do.
on
That's what I do in my practice. I interpret the data. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's a great question. Like, when see someone's genetic profile, like, oh, and like this is what your genetics is telling me. And then when we pair that with some other labs, now I get a more comprehensive. I look at their blood work. I like to look at really advanced, more data than the average doctor is running. I want to see insulin levels. I want to see homocysteine. I want to see iron and ferritin. I want to see HSCRP. I want to see ApoB, which is the part of LDL, the the part of your cholesterol that's stickier, right? I want to see like deeper.
And the
And
poop, you want to see the poop
I
too.
want to see the poop. I want, I want to poop
Yeah,
like you as a picture, like you're a beautiful puzzle. You, you're complex but you're unique. And what you're solving for is different from what your neighbor is solving for. So, and then we layer on like our habits and our, psychology and the mindset. And it's like, ooh, because that's actually 80% of it. So the 20% is have your right strategy, right? Like maybe for some person, it is more plant based. And for another person, it's like, more carnivorous. And and then it's the 80% is like, "Oh, well, I'm a complex human being with stress and this and like life and habits that are either serving me or not." And so that's where I help like the person implement their strategy, right? It's like, here's your data, but now like let's actually go do it so you can get a good result because having the information and then not using it is pretty useless.
absolutely.
Yeah. And I'm really talking about it's more helpful for a person who's like already doing mostly the right stuff. Like if someone is saying like, "Oh, I have terrible habits. I have these terrible then we start there. We start with just basic the big rocks. Eat more whole foods, make sure you're eating your ideal body weight in grams of protein. You're drinking your water. You're getting your exercise, right? Really the basic stuff. But when someone is like, I'm really doing a lot of good things and I don't feel great, or I have this issue, then it's like valid to really go deeper.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
one of the main things I'm concerned with is boosting cognitive health as I get
Yeah.
older because I notice, I'm not as sharp as I used to be when I was, younger, but it's still there though. But talk to us about that.
Okay. So, again, uh, boosting up muscle mass is the number one thing you can do for your cognitive health. Number 2 is being with community, right? Like, so having friends, being social, not being lonely, like getting around other humans, so important for longevity and cognitive health, having good, interesting conversation. There was a guy, he's a YouTuber and I can't remember his name, but he ran a very interesting experiment. Um, he went to get his brain scanned and he's in his 30s and his brain turns out it was only working at like 50% function, or he was rated at like 50% out of all 30-year-olds. Like your brain's just not working at full capacity. So he said, "Doc, what do I do?" He was working with Dr. Daniel Amen, and he said, "You need to do a digital detox." I mean, because this guy was on his computer all day and
Oh,
then probably
wow.
watching TV and on the
No
phone.
wonder.
Yeah, I know, we're like all of us. Thank you, but at the same time, there is a little we can be too much on it. So he did an experiment. He left his family for a bit. Month 1, he goes to a monastery and he lives with the monks and he's gardening and he's meditating and this and that. Month 2, he goes to live with an Amish family. So no digital, no screens there. And then month 3, he reintegrated with his family, no screens for a couple weeks. And he went to go get his brain scanned again. And it was now functioning at 99%.
Wow.
Yeah. So he's written a book. He's on the tour. He's on the podcast tour, selling his book, talking about this. So isn't that wild? So, yes,
Yeah.
less screen time, good for cognitive health. Obviously, quality food, quality relationships, stimulating your brain, maybe learning a new task, right? Maybe new language or trying new things, traveling, right? Expanding your horizons. And then there's good supplementation you can do. There are wonderful supplements out there that you can take to optimize brain health. So, but you want to have good blood work, right? Like that's number 1, every year just have really good blood work come back, and that's gonna help your brain as well.
One of the main things that you forgot is get a pet.
Oh, well, yeah, my dog is, like, the best thing
Okay.
ever. Yeah, so a pet totally boosts longevity, and here's another interesting one that, I loved, which is if you really wanna live a long life, um, you need to have the ability to process grief quickly. If you really wanna live a long life, you will likely lose some people. So, yeah. So being able to still find purpose after loss is huge, for longevity. Absolutely. It's not all food. It's not all food and exercise. There's a lot, like, human connection that needs to happen, and purpose, and I think that goes a long way. There are, about 20 of our 25,000 genes that are longevity genes. So, yeah, it's interesting. So there's a lot of things we can do lifestyle-wise to optimize those genetics. Some people who smoke and drink and live to 105, like, they just have very good genetics. They have
Winston Churchill.
very yeah, he was not the healthiest looking guy, but, he yeah, I mean, you have really good, they have really good detoxification of bad stuff. So, someone asked, Naya, my mother could benefit so much from all this. Oh, yes, I know. How much does it cost to work with me? So, it's like totally honest. So an initial consult is $250. And
It's
then
cheap.
I thank you, Margaret. And I mean,
It
it's
is.
a good investment that will, and then I have, if you want to do lab testing. Um, so the lab tests the lab tests cost what they cost. I don't make any money on the labs, but I bake in the cost of the labs into the packages that I have. So where I make money is interpreting it and holding you accountable for implementing so you can be successful. So, um, yeah, I have like the highest level, don't fall over, is 10 grand, then I have 5,000, and then I have 2.5K. So I know, the 2.5K is affordable for people if they really want to test. So that includes 3 lab tests and 3 months of working together. Now, if that's like, "Oh my god, I can't do that," you can go to my website and go in the store, Thrive Results Coaching. Again, I don't make money on the tests. So you can go and you can buy your own tests and administer the kits at home. This is not blood work. This is, let's say you want to do a genetic test. It's a saliva swab of your mouth, but you're going to want to have someone interpret it. You're going to want to meet with me to go over it. So in that case, do all the tests you want to do, and then we meet one time, and that's $500. So that's what I got, guys. you know, so there's no surprises. Um, that's what it is. And like for an initial consult, I can give you a super bill to submit to insurance. And like I said, any of this is like you can pay for with your HSA if you have a health savings account. So I hope that answered people's question. Um,
Khalil had some questions for you.
um, Khalil does? Did I
Yeah,
miss? Khalil, I was on a vegan diet for 4 years. The reason I stopped, is because it's a pain in the ass. Yeah, to find proper food. Yes, I agree. It is, and I mean, personally, I require animal protein as an animal lover. Like, you don't wanna be eating animals, but, like, I need them. And I feel better. And I also have the predisposition for type 2 diabetes. So when I eat more carbohydrate, especially grains, like rice and oatmeal and wheat and all that stuff, my blood glucose goes boop, not good. My A1C pops over that 5.7 line super fast. So I have to be a low carb person. That's just me. Um, and so animal protein, healthy fats, and like green veggies and an occasional piece of fruit. Like that's sort of the diet that works for me. But it may be different for you. I had a girl who she had really bad gut issues, a little 20-year-old cute little thing, and tiny. And she's like, everything I eat makes me hurt. So I really don't know what to eat. And I said, you know what, I don't know what you should eat either. Let's test you up. So her stool, her microbiome needed lots of support. Holy moly. And then two, her food sensitivity test was very interesting. Because I kind of have this like personal bias against a vegan diet, right? Because of my personal experience. But her food test showed she had all these very uh, uh, big allergies, like IgE
Wow.
allergies to most animal proteins and dairy. So she needed a veganish, except for fish. So it was like, she said, Christina, you're basically telling me a vegan diet with fish. And I said, yeah, like that's that. And we're going to have to, restore your gut. And that you do through like good supplementation. But yeah, poor thing. Like that was not a direction I would enjoy, but that's what was good for her. Yeah. Yeah. I love these questions. I love the engagement. Nai says, I've noticed I am so sensitive to nitrates in perimenopause, like never before. Is that, oh, perimenopause kicked my butt. I'm now on the other side. Thank goodness. But man, that was so tough. Yeah, there's so many changes that are happening hormonally. If it's appropriate for you, I know it was appropriate for me to do hormone replacement, and it really changed things for me. Um, you can experience gut changes during this time, and we also become over 40. We become like more insulin resistant. We just do, and we're not doing the same type of exercise or same amount of exercise. So we're losing muscle mass year over year and decade over decade. That's just a fact. It's something we have to fight. So metabolically, as we're aging, it's a natural process. Things are declining. And so it is possible to have increased sensitivities, Naya, for sure. And at least you're very self-aware and to like, okay, you become more sensitive to that. So there's so many different anti-nutrients in food. Some people are sensitive to histamine. Some people are sensitive to oxalate. Some people it's FODMAP, phytates. Like it just depends. It's weird. We're all really different again. Can't hammer that home enough. Um, yeah, but I have to go. I have a 1 o'clock client session. This has been amazing.
Thank you so much, Christina. You didn't even get a chance to put your links in. I'll put that in there. And thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate you.
Oh, I
And I will
appreciate you for having me on your show here, and I appreciate all the great questions and the high engagement here. So fun to be with everybody today. Yeah.
we'll be in touch. Thank you so
Okay,
much. Thank
sounds good.
thank you, everyone. Bye
Have a
bye.
great
Bye.
day. Bye.
All right. Bye. Bye.